Cigars are more than just tobacco. They're stories, crafted by hand, steeped in tradition, and designed to create pinnacle moments of beauty and enjoyment. And amongst the finest of these treasures, one cigar stands alone without equal, the Cohiba Behique. A masterpiece amongst masterpieces, the Cohiba Behique is immediately recognizable amongst connoisseurs as one of the finest and most exclusive cigars in the world. I'm Kirby Allison, and in this new series, I've been granted unprecedented access by Habanos to explore the mystique behind one of the world's greatest and most expensive cigars, the Cohiba Behique. Together, we'll explore its rich history, its unrivaled craftsmanship, and its legacy as a global symbol of excellence and luxury. Our journey will take us not only to the prestigious tobacco fields of Cuba in search of the elusive medio tiempo leaves that imbue these cigars with their unrivaled flavor, but to the sacred halls of El Aguito, where they're rolled totalmente a mano by a small team of the country's best rollers, and finally, to meet connoisseurs of great cigars in some of the most exclusive smoking rooms in the world. So join me as we uncover a magical world where quality, craftsmanship, and tradition are without equal, celebrating a masterpiece of Cuban tobacco that many consider to be the finest cigars ever made. Every icon has an origin story, and for the Cohiba Behique, this story begins in 2006 with the celebration of Cohiba's 40th anniversary. The early 2000s was a period of renaissance for Habanos, enjoying unrivaled global success on the heels of the cigar boom of the 1990s. In what was a significant milestone for Cuba's most exclusive and important brand, special planning begun years before on a creation that would demonstrate Cuba's tobacco preeminence, represented by Cohiba. A truly one-of-a-kind cigar was designed, a quest for perfection that would exemplify every aspect of the production cycle. The best wrapper leaves were selected over 2 years from 3 of the country's best farms in Pinar de Rio's Vuelta Bajo. The finest filler, aged for a minimum of 5 years, was carefully selected by a small team of the country's tobacco experts. And then they would all be rolled by the country's most senior and celebrated torcedor, Norma Fernandez at El Aguito, before being presented as a limited edition series of 100 breathtaking humidors of 40 individually numbered cigars designed by LA Blue in Paris, the world's most exclusive manufacturer of humidors. The result was what is now considered the holy grail of cigars, one that shattered all precedent. And the name chosen to grace these cigars was a name that, until that moment, had never been used before, Behique. To learn more about this pivotal moment in the history of Habanos, we sit down with a man who himself is without equal, Edward Sahakian. Edward, thank you so much for having me in your incredible shop, one of my favorite places in all the world. Well, this year, a very much beloved cigar celebrates its 15th anniversary, the Cohiba Behique. And we're here today to talk about how the Behique name first came to be and when collectors were first introduced to the name.
First time I heard the name Behique, it didn't mean anything. And we were told that there's a cigar, a very special cigar, is being produced. The tobacco comes from the finest of the 3 finest farmers in Havana and Cuba, from the Pinar de Rio area. It was going to be rolled in of the finest factory, the Laguita factory, and it was going to be rolled by one roller, the most famous roller, Norma Fernandez. And they kept on teasing us with this information. No photographs was available, not much more detail was available. And then it was in the early to mid 2006, we were informed that we will be able to put down our names, possibly to be able to buy 1 humidor for each person. Nobody was allowed to buy 2 humidors in his name.
Mm-hmm.
And if we had a very special customer who wanted it, we should take the details and pass it on to Habanos, and hopefully they will be able to get it. Well, I couldn't think of anybody better than myself to put my name down.
One of the great privileges of, owning the shop.
I did try to get a second one, but I was told that it's not possible. The period of waiting started. It was 2006, mid 2006. Still no photographs of it, no samples of it. We had put our money down for something we hadn't even seen. And until end of 2006, early 2007, I was informed by Gemma Freeman from Hunters. Good news, your cigars are finally on their way. Another 3-4 months later of waiting, it was, I believe, April 2007. I got a famous phone call from Gemma saying, Edward, your humidor is here. And if you're in the shop tomorrow, I would like to bring it in myself and present it to you. It was a fantastic day. I had a bottle of champagne waiting. And the famous Hunters of Franco van arrived outside. You know, their license plate is cigar. That is their number plate. The moment I saw the cigar license plate outside, I said, it's here. We all went and opened the door, waiting for it to come out. I thought it's going to be a small box, 40 cigars. It doesn't take that much space. I couldn't believe it took 2 people to lift it and bring it into the shop. And this beautiful box was inside the other box. It was like a Pandora's box. Kept on opening and opening, but the final was here. It has a mother of pearl inlaid of the Indian head in the center, and stingray finish on the sides in the shape of squares resembling the Behike design. It does have a big locking system here. I took the liberty of unlocking it just for you, so no need to use the key. And voila, this
Wow.
is the beautiful box.
I mean, look at this presentation. I mean, these are just magnificent cigars.
On the left-hand side of the corner, you can see my name engraved, Edward Sahakyan. On the right-hand side, the name of the producer of the humidor itself, Eli Blue, one of the finest factories manufacturing humidors. And I have to be careful with this. The first tray has 20 cigars.
Wow.
Beautiful cigars. 52 ring gauge, I believe. In those days, it was massive. And every cigar, as you can see, has an individual number.
It's incredible. So,
Consecutive individual numbers.
and it's 100 humidors of 40 cigars. So all 4,000 cigars
4,000.
rolled by Norma Fernandez, one roller.
It was all rolled by one person, Norma Fernandez, which I had the pleasure of having here for the opening of the shop in 1980. I have a photograph of her.
Really?
Would you like to see?
Oh, I would love to.
That's her rolling cigars right here in the shop.
So, this is 1980 when the shop opened. Fast forward 26 years later, she's the most senior roller at the most prestigious factory in all of Cuba, El Higuita.
Absolutely.
And it was Norma Fernandez alone that rolled every single
Every
one of
single
these
cigar.
4,000 cigars. Incredible.
A couple of years later, I went back to Havana and I met her and I thanked her in person. And she gave me a book signed with her signature on it, dedicated to Edward.
Yeah.
But she was a lovely lady. She's no longer with us, by the way.
Well, she is I mean, blessed so many with their incredible work. What was the reception of this cigar? I mean, here's Cohiba. I mean, it's the flagship brand of all of Habanos, really created to represent Cuban excellence. And for their 40th anniversary, they come out with this Behike cigar. Massive. I mean, a true indulgence of tobacco. The best leaves from the best farms, handpicked across 2 years, and then rolled by Cuba's best roller into these magnificent instruments of pleasure, as you so often describe them.
It was incredible. It wasn't cheap. These cigars were being offered something in the region of 12, 13,000 pounds. And people had to buy it before they had even seen the cigar. So not many people were ready to do that. But a few people who were wise enough to do it, they were ever so happy. It's a fantastic cigar. I think the idea of buying a cigar which you have not seen and you've only heard about it is not an easy task. But that also created a certain mystique about it. And those who were able to get a box with their names on it after they received the cigars, they all regretted that they did not order any more.
Yeah.
There was suddenly a black market for it, everybody looking around, buying each other's boxes. In the Lanesborough Hotel, in their smoking lounge, they started selling them at £1,000 each. And then very quickly it became £2,000, £3,000, £4,000 or £5,000 each cigar.
Mm-hmm.
And then there was no more. And if there was, nobody was willing to sell it.
Yeah.
Since then, I cannot think of any other Cohiba cigar or any cigar coming out into the market to be so successful, so well made, such a beautiful smoke in such a beautiful packaging. I hope there will be some more in the future, but I haven't seen one since this beauty came out.
You're a man who has handled many cigars. What is it that when you hold that in your hands speaks of Cuban excellence and perfection?
Well, just holding the cigar in your hand, you get the vibes of it. There are cigars and cigars. With this one, just by holding it in your hand, somehow it talks to you. If you look at the fine wrapper there, it's more silkier than silk. It's gorgeous. The color, the tenderness, the softness. It has the famous pigtail, which unfortunately one has to cut and throw away before smoking the cigar. The blend itself is beautiful. You can see the way it's packed, the filler is just perfect. It is a perfect cigar, and they are all the same because they were all rolled by one person. It's a great, great cigar. I have not seen anything since. We've had some beautiful cigars since, but nothing like this.
Yeah.
And especially nothing in such a beautiful presentation box.
Yeah. I mean, it's an incredible example of just Cuban excellence.
It is indeed. This is the mother of all Behikes, you know that.
Yeah.
It was after the success of this cigar, it was quite about 3 years later, when we had the first delivery, the launch and the delivery of the Behikes for the rest of the public to be able to enjoy. It was in 2010 when the Behike was introduced, was launched in the UK. There was a lovely evening ceremony in the Goring Hotel outside. The weather was very kind, it was beautiful. And it was the first time myself and the public got a glimpse of the Behike 52, 54, the 56. And not only we got a glimpse of it, but we had actual cigars offered to be able to smoke and enjoy. It was a great success from day one, the Behikes. It was not cheap, it was expensive but affordable, like all good things in life. Nothing is cheap. All good things in life are expensive. But they were beautiful. They came in lovely polished boxes of 10. And for a number of years, we were able to get more or less whatever we ordered of the supplies. In the recent years, they have become impossible, almost impossible to get. We do get very few. I was fortunate enough to keep some in stock, so we managed to try to overcome the period where we couldn't get any new stocks. At the moment, it's starting to get perhaps a little better. There are one or two stocks coming through, but we will only get the stocks when they have the tobacco. With the Behikes, they don't make it from any tobacco. The tobacco has to be the right tobacco, the right combination, the fillers, the wrappers, everything has to be perfect for them to turn it into a Behike cigar. And there are times, there are years with hurricanes, COVIDs and things like that, which if there's a shortage of any of these components, they do not just make it.
Yeah.
Period.
Well, and the 2010 launch of the Behike also saw the addition of a leaf that had never been used before, the Medio Tiempo.
Well, we thought that was just a story, the Medio Tempo. And because every time, so why is the Behike so special apart from the others? And they were told, well, there's these two extra leaves that grow on the top of the plant, which is Medio Tempo, that was the name of it. And it doesn't grow on every plant. And they go around looking for it, they find it, they pick it. And if they don't have that component, they will not make a Behike. The tobacco will still be fine, the tobacco leaves, but if it doesn't have those two elements on it, it will not be made into a Behike.
Whenever the Cohiba Behike was launched in 2010, how was it received?
The Cohiba Behike, when they launched it in 2010, it was greatly received. You know, after the reception, launching the cigar in the Goring Hotel, it was a sudden success. Right from the following morning, we started having customers asking for it, buying them, not only singles, by boxes. You know, they come in beautiful boxes of 10, beautifully packed, and it's a fantastic cigar, not only to buy and smoke, but to buy and keep. It's a great investment. Many Cuban cigars age very well, as you know, but with the Behikes, they even age by far better than any other one. Somehow there's magical, perhaps it's those two Medio Tempo leaves that does the magic, but they do mature beautifully.
Yeah.
Within, if you can afford to keep it for 3, 4, 5 years, 7 years ideally, it is a magnificent cigar and a very good investment.
Yeah. If one can resist the temptation to smoke it 7 years.
If you could,
in and of
well,
itself,
that's why I tell
requires
my
a cigar.
customers when they want to buy one, I said, if you're buying one to smoke, buy two. Smoke one now and keep the other one. If you're buying a box, buy 2 boxes. Smoke one now and keep the other one. One day it will pay for the first one.
Absolutely. Whenever you think of the Behike, I mean, it in so many ways carries on this tradition of the Cohiba 40th anniversary of excellence, right? You know, the best wrapper leaves, the silkiest, smoothest, I mean, most beautiful, perfect wrapper leaves are exclusively used in the Behikes. I mean, when you look at one, it's a marvel. The best tobacco, right, from Vuelta Abajo, from the best farms, aged and carefully selected, the additional fermentation. All the Cohiba Behikes are exclusively rolled at El Higuito, the most beautiful factory, by only the most skilled torcedores. It is truly a product of Cuban excellence and craftsmanship. When you look at that cigar, and if you look at the customer that is smoking one, you know, what type of person do you perceive?
It's usually a person who really, really appreciates a cigar. Whenever a customer walks into the shop and he asks for a Behike, I immediately realize he must be a real connoisseur. Not everybody knows about Behique still, and not everybody can afford it, to be honest. But even those who cannot afford much of the Behique, on many occasions they would buy a variety of other cigars, but at the end they want that one very special cigar, which is the Behique 52, 54, 56. They would buy one extra one for a very special occasion to enjoy that one.
Yeah. You know, looking back at this incredible humidor, I mean, 1 of 100, an incredible testament of just Cuba's ability to cultivate that tobacco into the best cigars in the world. We fast forward, we look at the modern production of the Cohiba Behique celebrating their 15th anniversary this year. What do you think is the legacy of the Behique cigar?
I think they have created the Behique to be the Rolls Royce of Rolls Royces of cigars in the Cuban manufacturing. They put their everything into it, their heart and soul, the best fields, the best tobacco fields, and the best factory, and the best rollers. You know, in the factory, the Laguita factory, even there, not every roller is allowed to roll a Behique cigar. Even today, if you are allowed and appointed to roll a Behique cigar, it's a great privilege, and the rest of the rollers, they look up to you with envy that he rolls a Behique cigar. Every cigar smoker should be allowed to have one of these humidors or something similar to this eventually in good time.
Well, but really, I mean, in many ways, every box of Cohiba Behiques is in fact carrying this tradition of excellence forward.
It is.
And you see that tradition and that commitment and that heritage in every box of Cohiba Behiques and really in every cigar of Cohiba Behiques.
It is indeed. I mean, although each one is numbered individually, but the other Cohibas that are made, although you don't see a number on it, but in reality they are numbered. Every Behique is a numbered cigar. It's made with respect, it's made with confidence, and it gives you the finest of the pleasure.
In 2010, Habanos was going from strength to strength. The past decade had seen the introduction of the Edición Limitada and regional programs, both receiving wide acclaim and helping to further energize the Habanos community. Their cigars had overcome the quality control concerns of the late 1990s and were thriving in the global marketplace despite a proliferation of new world cigar brands. So what was it that would have Habanos decide to risk everything in their quest for perfection by introducing a standard production cigar of such exclusivity that, until this moment, had never been made before? To explore the vision that led to the birth of the Behique, we visit with the co-presidents of Habanos S.A.A., Marixa Carrillo Gonzalez and Luis Sanchez Harguinde.
Hola, Kirby.
Marixa,
Placer en
Luis.
recibirte.
Gracias a todo. Y, thank you for welcoming me to the beautiful La Casa del Laguito.
Ciertamente, el Laguito es la fábrica donde se produce la marca más notoria de nuestro portafolio, Cohiba.
Cohiba. Yeah. I mean, es una marca muy especial and the crown jewel of the entire Habanos portfolio.
Aquí producimos las 4 líneas de la marca.
Mm-hmm.
O sea, desde el mismo año 1966 en que se instauró la fábrica, en esta instalación donde nos encontramos, se desarrolló todo el portafolio para deleite de nuestros fumadores.
Wow, increíble. And this is a very special year for Cohiba.
Lo es sin duda. Es el 15 aniversario de la línea Behique, la línea más exclusiva dentro de nuestra marca más notoria, más lujosa y más exclusiva de nuestro portafolio también. Es sin duda un año especial que merece también una celebración especial.
Sí, por supuesto. I mean, I think that the story of Cuban tobacco is a story of Cuban excellence. This was something you shared with me last year at the 30th anniversary of the Habanos. And there is no greater gift to the world than the gift of a Habanos cigar. La tierra, la cultura, y lo más
Tradición.
importante, la historia de la gente.
Sí, sin duda.
Yeah.
Fíjate, yo te diría, más allá, yo creo que Cohiba y la línea Beike es una mezcla perfecta entre tradición, innovación, excelencia y al final el resultado es este, es un tabaco único para el disfrute de los mejores amantes a la Habana. Beike es algo único, pero
Yeah.
qué mejor que hablando de Beike podamos disfrutar uno.
Ah,
Así que es un placer poder ofreceros
gracias.
Muchas gracias,
un
Luis.
Beike.
Es un Vejique 56.
Sí, señor. Sí,
Ah.
señor.
Exactamente.
Sí, señor.
Una maravilla.
Sí, sí. Toda una oda al tabaco cubano.
Ah, wow. Increíble. Gracias por eso.
Está fantástico, sí.
I don't smoke many of these, but whenever I do, I know that it is truly a special moment. And to be here at El Higuito in Havana with the opportunity to speak about how this incredible cigar began is a true pinnacle moment. So,
Es difícil mejorar esa experiencia,
Yeah.
sin duda.
how did the Bejique come into existence? Where did it begin?
En el año 2006, y te comentaba que ese era el origen de la línea Beike, porque justo en el año 2006 nuestra marca Cohiba cumplió 40 años. Y para celebrarlo, ideamos un humidor. Fueron solo 100 humidores con 40 puros y fue realmente un producto único. ¿Tú recuerdas ese humidor, Luis?
Perfectamente, Maritza. Además, en aquel momento era el puro más caro que Habanos ponía en el mercado. De hecho, te diría que el puro más caro en toda la industria.
Sí.
Fue, desde luego, un evento único, con un envase muy exclusivo, con maderas preciosas, otros materiales únicos y qué mejor que tener un tabaco como aquel con el cepo de un siglo VI y la longitud del emblemático lancero.
Yeah.
O sea, que estábamos haciendo historia aunque no lo sabíamos.
Yes. Well, I mean, this is what's incredible is, the Bejique, whenever it first arrived, changed everything. I mean, it was an incredible example of Cuban preeminence in tobacco.
Totalmente, totalmente. Imagínate sacar una línea top, una línea premium dentro de nuestra marca más exclusiva. Es algo al alcance de los muy conocedores, aficionados que tenemos y para nosotros todo un privilegio poner a su disposición un tabaco tan único que una innovación, toda la tradición de los productores, de los torcedores y con un producto único, pues también con la Fortaleza 4 o el medio tiempo, que fue toda una innovación también por aquel entonces.
Yeah.
Así que, como digo, un producto exclusivo y único.
Yeah. And it also was rolled completely by one torcedor here at El Higuito, Norma Fernandez.
Sí, efectivamente, queríamos lo mejor de lo mejor. Las mejores hojas de Pinar del Río, de San Luis, de San Juan y, por supuesto, la más experta torcedora que teníamos en la fábrica del Laguito,
Yeah.
por supuesto.
Yo recuerdo a Norma porque fue una de las fundadoras de esta casa. Y si vamos un poco atrás, el Laguito se creó justamente solo con torcedoras, porque siempre fue una voluntad del gobierno lograr mayor incorporación de las mujeres a la sociedad y a la vida laboral. Y tengo muchos recuerdos de Norma porque la hemos utilizado también para la comunicación del producto.
Yeah.
De hecho, las manos que aparecen en el libro de la mano son las de ellas.
Cierto,
Sí.
cierto.
Yeah. And this is one of the incredible things about Cuban tobacco, is this legacy and this tradition, where you see torcedores and farmers, that have been involved, not just decades, but in many cases, generations, carrying on not just a Cuban tradition, but a family tradition.
¿Cuántas familias conocemos, verdad? No solo en Pinar del Río, a través de todo Cuba, que, como bien decías, Kirby, generaciones, todo ese know-how que tiene se ha ido transfiriendo, y no solo eso, sino que mejorando con el tiempo, con nuevas técnicas, nuevas formas de cultivo. Al final enriquece una cultura que ya por sí pues, es parte de Cuba.
Y es tanta la pasión que despierta este producto que aun cuando no tengas a nadie en la familia que haya trabajado en esta industria, una vez que lo visitas, te atrapa.
Yeah. Well, this is one of the things that I think, perhaps at least for me, is irreplicable in the world of tobacco. And this is that tradition that somehow whenever you're smoking a Cuban cigar, any Cuban cigar, but even more a cigar like this, the sum is greater than the parts. I mean, the aggregation of the passion, the legacy, the excellence that goes into every cigar makes it somehow transcend all of that.
Sin duda. Yo creo que es una fórmula completa, porque tenemos todo, tenemos la materia prima, tenemos el mejor conocimiento que puede haber en todas las cadenas productivas, y luego pues también nosotros en Habanos vestimos adecuadamente este tabaco, ¿no?
Yeah.
Entonces pues utilizando packaging especial, con materiales únicos, medidas de seguridad en las anillas, que también es muy importante.
So how did we go from 2006 to 2010? You know, in 2006, we had this 40th anniversary humidor, the Bejique, the first time anyone had heard that name. And then in 2010, Habanos, going from strength to strength, decides to indulge connoisseurs with these incredible standard production Bejiques. Where did this come from?
Bueno, fue tanto el éxito de ese humidor que Habanos decidió agasajar a su consumidor con un producto, línea Behique, esta vez con dos innovaciones. Uno, tener 3 vitolas que no estaban previamente en el portafolio. Y por otro lado, adicionar a la ligada, a esta mágica ligada, la hoja de medio tiempo, que es una hoja que se da en la planta muy rara y que se ha determinado que solo entre el 3 y el 5% de la cosecha la logra.
Yeah, incredible.
Yo creo que era el momento, con el éxito que apuntaba Maritza, que tuvimos en el año 2006, con esta introducción de ese Behique especial, le podíamos llamar, de hacerlo más accesible a los consumidores, a los amantes al habano, con 3 líneas, dentro de una tendencia de cepo grueso, que es muy apetecible para nuestros consumidores, con un envase también muy especial, pero no debemos perder de vista que aunque pertenece a la producción estándar de habanos, siempre va a ser una producción limitada por las propias características del producto, como decía Maritza, porque son 2 hojas que serán muy rara vez en la producción y por tanto, simplemente por una limitación natural, la producción no puede ser masiva.
Yeah. And also with the special band. I mean, it was
También.
the first time that this band had ever been used.
Sí.
And even to this day, the Bejique band is special amongst all of the Cohibas.
Y muy reconocible. Sí. Y además también introducimos medidas de seguridad, que eso sin duda nos ayuda a proteger la legitimidad de Behique, de Cohiba y de todos nuestros habanos.
Yeah. And the Cohiba Bejique, I think to this day, remains one of the most counterfeit cigars in all the world. But this band, you know, has security features integrated into it to help assure the authenticity of this Cuban gem.
Absolutamente. Es inevitable que marcas tan exclusivas, tan únicas y líneas como Behique intenten ser falsificadas e imitadas, pero nosotros tenemos que luchar contra eso para intentar erradicarlo de la máxima manera que podamos hacerlo. Y por eso es con productos únicos, intentar que sean lo menos inimitables en cuanto a la dificultad para hacerlo. Entonces, todas estas medidas de seguridad, tanto en las cajas, en las anillas, son esenciales para intentar prevenir eso.
I mean, it's truly the best of Cuba, a demonstration of tobacco preeminence, the selection of the selection of the selection. And to smoke one is a moment of true indulgence.
Absolutamente, y más si lo disfrutamos con amigos, ¿verdad, Maritza? Eso es la mejor combinación que puede haber.
Mira qué maravilla.
Yeah.
Sí.
The other thing about the Cohiba Bejique, that I think captivated connoisseurs and collectors was this medio tiempo, right? This special leaf that in many ways was the gift of the tobacco plant to its farmers for a job well done, but one that imparts, again, a flavor profile and a blend that is completely unique amongst even Cohiba.
Otra de las novedades dentro de la marca Cohiba, porque sí que teníamos fortaleza media, media fuerte, pero en una fortaleza fuerte que sí que le añade el medio tiempo, efectivamente.
Que ha sido un regalo de la naturaleza.
Yeah.
Ya tú comentabas que el origen nuestro es tradición, clima. O sea, la madre naturaleza también nos ha regalado la posibilidad de ofrecer algo totalmente mágico, ofreciendo la ligada de la línea Behique.
El Behique es el resultado del trabajo de la familia de habanos. La familia de habanos empieza realmente por el Instituto Cubano de Investigaciones del Tabaco, que son los que producen, los que dan a conocer la semilla que al final, plantada, da lugar a esta maravillosa planta. Pasa por todo el proceso preindustrial de Tabacuba, por habanos, por nuestros distribuidores, por todos los detallistas en el mundo, por aficionados como tú y como todos nuestros consumidores. Es, como digo, una labor de equipo que al final da origen a este maravilloso producto.
Donde también juega un papel importante el torcedor, que es el artista que hace esta obra maestra al final acabada, atemperada, ¿no?
Well, at El Higuito, the best torcedores of all of Cuba are working here, dedicating themselves to Cohiba. Is there a special group within that dedicated even more exclusively to Behique?
Los mejores. Siempre. Si no fueran los mejores, este producto no sería el mejor. Yo creo que tiene los mejores productores, los mejores torcedores, las mejores hojas y nosotros la mejor manera de comercializarlo. Es, como decías tú antes, lo mejor de lo mejor. Eso es Behique.
Aunque ciertamente en la industria los torcedores cubanos tienen mucha destreza. Tienes que escoger a los que más habilidades demuestran. Pero yo pienso que tenemos, una industria con mucha destreza, muchas habilidades, mucha pasión, mucha tradición.
Es un orgullo para ellos
por supuesto.
el poder ser un torcedor que produzca Behique. Para ellos es absolutamente algo único y si les preguntas te dicen que no hay nada mejor en lo que puedan trabajar. Es su amor, es su pasión.
Yeah. And are all Behiques made here at El Higuito?
Sí. Todo el Behique está hecho aquí, sí, en la fábrica del Laguito.
As we reflect on the origins of the Cohiba Behique, it becomes clear that this cigar is much more than the sum of its parts. From its inception as a groundbreaking tribute to the Cohiba brand's legacy, to its elevation as a universal symbol of luxury, every detail of this cigar is perfect. From the selection of the tobacco, to the skilled hands of Cuba's best torcedores, to its immediately recognizable band and beautiful black lacquered packaging, presented in 3 magnificent vitolas, the Cohiba Behique 52, 54, and 56. It is the ultimate indulgence, a demonstration of excellence and the pinnacle of what can be achieved when quality, craftsmanship, and tradition come together. But the story doesn't end here. In our next episode, we'll travel deeper into the heart of Cuba, exploring the legendary tobacco fields of Pinar del Rio, uncovering the secrets behind the mythical medio tiempo leaf that make the Cohiba Behique's blend so special, before continuing to El Higuito to witness the meticulous craftsmanship that transform nature's magic into the ultimate expression of Cuban heritage.